Hi everybody! In this episode I want to break down the two main approaches in judging. On one side there's the holistic judging model, and on the other side we have the reductionist judging model. Let me start. In holistic judging we look at everything the performers present us. We look at the whole. We check out all the evidence by exploring the entire spectrum of each performance. In the reductionist model, on the other hand, we only look at values we consider relevant and ignore the rest. It is based on selected and fixed categories. These two contrary models require a different mindset. Holistic judges must have an explorer's mindset. They are researching as they watch the performances. By contextualizing the performances, they find out all the necessary indicators they base their assessments on and compare them between the performers. That means any shown elements or skill from all parts of the spectrum are taken into consideration and are compared. The reductionist judge uses selective attention. Before the contest, some specialists decide what is of importance and what not. Their axioms and maxims lay the foundation of a doctrine. Everybody must obey. That means they choose criteria that everybody must focus on. Again, this is very important. The person with the greatest chance of winning the contest is the one fulfilling the aspects the system provides. The aspects that do not exist in the system cannot be taken into consideration. Let's be clear here. By deciding beforehand what is relevant and what is not means it's prejudged. Hence, the system has a prejudice. If skills don't fall into the spectrum of the chosen categories or criteria, they are ignored. All performances are looked through the same filters. So how does that play out? Back to holistic judging. To facilitate that exploring or research process while judging, the whole is modeled into a hierarchy of different attention areas. These areas are blurry and blend into one another. Further down the hierarchy, these areas become more specific to the point where they can describe exactly where the difference of the opposing performers' qualities lie in. That means a hierarchy of nested orders is needed to simplify the cognitive process while judging. In reductionist judging, the chosen criteria are oftentimes without any interconnectivity. Due to the fact the criteria were identified beforehand as the most relevant aspects, they become labels, and once established, these labels promote a fixed thinking. Because as labels, they alter the incoming information instead of the incoming information altering the labels. That means these criteria become prescriptive for a performer. They dictate what and how to perform. Not agreeing on these criteria, labels or aspects will just make people lose in competitions. They become outcasts. In other words, instead of watching the performances unfold and taking all of its elements in the equation, the selected criteria tell the performers what is important and what not. See, this develops more quality within the chosen areas, but it is detrimental for any development outside the scope of these aspects. So, a holistic judging system does not intervene with the development of the dancers. The performers are encouraged to present their own individual ways. The judges take all of the presented evidence into account. Here the dance style's development comes from within the creative community. It goes bottom up. By judging the reductionist mode, on the other hand, the criteria create the entire performance framework and is narrowed by the rigidity of the dictating criteria that were identified by a few people on the top. So, the development of the dance form is influenced by top-down decisions. The judges and dancers must focus on the chosen criteria only, and thereby, with time, the system will influence and limit their ways of expression. Battles are dance challenges in which one side dances against the other. Traditionally, they are judged by comparing the dancers' performances directly. That means we look at both sides performing, and we find out by identifying and evaluating all the different performance qualities who should be the winner. By doing so, we keep our minds open for surprises and we keep the dance form open for development in any direction. That is clearly the holistic way. Using criteria, which are selected categories that narrow the framework of a performer's expressive choice, may have a positive output on the particular development of the chosen categories, but they completely blend out any alternative ways of people expressing qualities outside these realms. In hip-hop culture, we learn how to deal with systemic societal rules by becoming creative. Lots of these rules were definitely not made for us. The criteria we were judged on by people in our everyday society and everyday life didn't apply to our way of life. Hip-hop became that alternative lifestyle that had the power to show everybody that alternate ways are possible. If now we apply the same rules to our game and rituals that we were actually trying to get away from, we may lose our soul. Instead, we should look into all the positive aspects that made our dance form so successful and teach people how they could apply those ideas to maybe better their life. Holistic thinking is just one of these. Peace out.